I am lucky enough to be here in San Francisco with George Fistanich, Sir George Fistanich, who is the founder and owner of Villa Maria in New Zealand. Now, I'm a big New Zealand fan. Anybody who knows me, has read or listened to me over the years, knows that I am a cheerleader for New Zealand, having visited numerous times and done everything from bungee jumping to hiking glaciers to eating lots of food and fabulous wine, drinking fabulous wine in the country. And you are, first of all, I want to ask you, how did you get the title Sir? He's actually a knight. I feel like I should sort of bend and bow to you, Sir George.
His contribution to the wine industry, we've done quite a few things first, like changing the contract system for paying for quality instead of quantity in the early days. Starting the first winery restaurant in New Zealand after about a 2-year battle with government and local bodies, etc. And then I suppose we were the first to commercially launch, go a totally cork-free zone and launch screw caps throughout New Zealand. And that's now we're about 98% of New Zealand is all
right.
screw caps, and I think it's just a wonderful initiative.
It's a wonderful thing, and he's being quite modest because really, you've been one of the founders of the modern New Zealand wine industry, and you know, one of the pioneers in creating not only a domestic market but the international presence of New Zealand.
I did actually 5 years of a building apprenticeship because my father was Croatian, and he insisted that my older brother had to have a law degree, so it was a matter of pride for a Croatian to be able to save money to put his older son through university, and I had to do a trade. But I found building a little bit repetitive and monotonous, and I was we had sort of half a hectare of grapes at home, and we were making homemade wine, selling a little bit to the neighbours. And then I was going out to Henderson.
So winemaking was much more creative than building.
Yeah, I just sort of, I was envious of that style, so I gave up building immediately when I did my duty. And I wanted to get into winemaking, so I leased my father's property and started Villa Maria.
And that was 1962.
1962, yeah. So this is the 50th vintage.
You can proudly say I was not born yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fantastic. And over the years, what have you seen, not only from the perspective of Villa Maria, because you built it from one small company based outside of Auckland to an incredibly large and successful and you know, worldwide, world-renowned company, to the industry as a whole?
Well, when I started, there was only port and sherry, and New Zealand had a very low image. It was very much a beer drinking culture, and any people who really loved wine and were fussy about it, you know, really brought imported wine, you know, French, German, or South African. So I had a passion for dry whites and dry reds, and so I started making dry white and dry red out of American hybrid grapes. And,
really?
Yes, in the early 1962.
What American hybrid grapes?
Siebel 5455, Siebel 4643. Did that mean anything to you?
Very sexy names for grapes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Siebel 5437. Yeah.
Merlot is a little better. Pinot Noir.
Okay. Didn't exist then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, Villa Maria was pretty much the start of the modern wine industry, and you know, I was very fortunate. I won actually second and third prize in my first show. So it put me on a little map as a little boutique winery, and it was actually, there wasn't any gold medals or things then. It was just first, second, or third. So getting second or third for 2 dry reds was actually quite significant back then. Yeah, and we were one of the early ones to start making dry red. Not many companies were doing that. It was all port and sherry.
Right.
So we actually, right throughout the 60s, New Zealand was still very unsophisticated, but my generation were starting to travel, read, taste wine, and get curious, and so it was really in the 70s that.
And it wasn't until the
Chardonnay started
1970s
planting,
that grapes Sauvignon Blanc was even planted in
Oh,
Marlborough.
that's right, yes. Well, even Chardonnay,
Right.
Cabernet, Merlot, Pinot Noir, a lot of those varieties were fairly non-existent. In fact, they were around at the turn of the century, and then phylloxera in the First World War put a stop to all that type of thing, so it was like a big restart.
So when you think, you know, New Zealand has such a a recognizable name, particularly because of Sauvignon Blanc, but certainly now because of other things in the United States. When you think it really, the industry didn't start until the early to mid 70s.
Oh, that's right. Yes, yeah.
It's remarkable.
Yeah, well, Sauvignon Blanc, I think I only had the 30th celebration here about 3 years ago, so it's only about 33 years old, which is quite amazing.
Yeah, that's closer to my age, right there. It's somewhere in there. Well, a toast to you, sir, for helping to create an industry and helping to put New Zealand on the world wine map.
No, thank
Cheers.
you, Lisa. Yeah, yeah, yeah.